guy's beside Gary. That one over there with Gary. Go on up there, go on up. Hey, Timmy. Right over here. In front of that. I want to take a picture of
New fighter jets, new warships. No NATO.
I'm involved with a lot of organizations, and I think all of them are probably supportive of what's going on here today and opposed to the purchase of even more weapons of mass destruction by the Canadian government. This is a government that seems to say, that tells us that it's concerned about climate, and then it buys a pipeline. It says it's in favor of peace, and then it buys fighter jets and warships. Doesn't seem to have any money to solve the inequality and the financial crisis that most people are facing. And they're facing in increasing amounts. But always has money to fill the pockets of those who produce the weapons and who make their billions off them.
And it's nice to see so many familiar faces, familiar activists, and it's great to hear from Don McLean. This is his struggle. This is the struggle of many people in Hamilton who want sustainability and affordability, and not the miserable waste and environmental devastation and economic despair and depression. So thanks again, Don McLean. In fact, you know what? Let's just say it for him. Let's chant, "We don't want your war machines. We don't want your war machines. We don't want your war machines. We don't want your war."
A wolf is kicking down the door as Mary's sleeping on the floor, and little Johnny's off to war, although he doesn't know what for. The rooms are cold, the cupboard's bare, and those in charge, they just don't care. The rulers, they're cruel and mean. They feed the corporate war machine. Seniors are sick and frail. Half the youth are locked in jail. People starving on the street, no place to live, no food to eat. Building prisons, closing schools, a nation being run by fools. And still you ask me what it means to feed the corporate war machine? Mary's found dead on the street. They dump her at her mother's feet. Johnny dies in senseless war. They pin a medal to his door. But when mothers ask what their kids died for, the state just shouts back, "Feed us more!" I hope you know now what it means to feed the corporate war machine. Thank you.
The white poppy is a commitment to peace and challenges any attempts to glamorize or celebrate war. Did you know that close to 90% of all deaths in wars in recent years are civilian deaths? The red poppy represents to me trying to resolve conflict with military weapons and warfare. The white poppy represents solving conflict through nonviolence, with a focus on achieving peace and challenging how we look at war. The best way to respect the victims of war is to work to prevent war, present and future. We need to tackle the underlying causes of warfare, such as poverty, inequality, and competition over resources.
So I would think if you go back a year ago and you were thinking to yourself, how's this ever going to work out? How is it possible that we could overcome the power of the moneyed interests and the speculators and the millionaires, who bought up this land and they want to profit from it? How could we possibly stop them? Because they pretty much always seem to win, But some people in our community, some are here right today with us, just took it upon themselves to start organizing, reaching out to neighbors, speaking to people's better self, their better conscience, give them hope, get them engaged. And in the end, we saw how members of city council, who normally are so subservient to these moneyed interests, saw that the public wasn't going to go for that. And they ended up voting 13-3 to hold the line,
As most of you may know, last week, about 100 RCMP went in and attacked the Wet'suwet'en Native people, and they arrested a whole bunch of them, some from the Six Nations here. And everyone's raising the question that how can you do this when there's a state of emergency in British Columbia because of the flooding? The whole province is in crisis, and here's the political leaders, federal, provincial, are deciding, oh, it's a good time now to attack the Native people. So it just shows, in my opinion, how tone deaf any of these politicians, and many of them, are about this issue. Not just the Native people, but even about the war production, okay? There's an agenda, and they don't want to take a stand on it. So the pressure that we have to do is we have to put pressure on these politicians.